Hello everybody, this is Jared. Get out of the way. Alright, so I'm doing a new different thing, so I'm coming up with a new crowd. I got these Afterglow remote controllers, and I'm going to show you what solution I use. I'm actually trying this because what I'm doing is something a little bit more. Stop. Don't. Okay, so I got these Afterglow for PS3. Okay, I'm still playing the PS3. I got some basic games that I just kind of do when I'm off of my time or whatever. But this button doesn't have the best sort of return. See, this one's a lot better. Yeah, it doesn't spring back as much. It's like collapsing in there. So. And these aren't too bad. I mean, the Afterglow, they do not connect with the regular Bluetooth. Would you stop? You need to stay out of my video. You need to stop being a pest. Maybe you should put a shirt on.
I'm not a pest.
Okay. Well, don't interfere with my video. Okay. Okay. So we got this. I got this at Walmart a while back, and when you get to playing something for a while, the design of it. They have some sort of a different rubber diaphragm, and I'm going to pull this apart and show you how to do this. But they're different. They're not like the PlayStation brand. There's some sort of aftermarket thing. They will also connect to computer, I believe, because you get like one of those little Bluetooth USB plug things. So I'll take the batteries out of here and get these out of the way. Clear my section for stuff. This is my kiddo who thinks he's a kiddo who likes to be a showboat. Okay, now with these, let me show you where this. Now, if you have never really done some of this stuff, I've taken apart a number of different things before, like laptops and stuff, and they do hide. So you've got a screw here, screw here, a screw here, a screw here, a screw here. Hopefully I got all that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you always have to kind of look, because they always seem to hide them in here. See, this little thing tells you how to put the batteries in, but it's in here like this. And I have a, small, finer tip screwdriver, and you want to make sure you don't round them off and you don't over tighten, which plastic things I have to always be careful with. I'm kind of heavy handed, and I have, working with my background and stuff, I have done a number of different things, so you want to get them just tight and snug so they're not going to come loose, but you got to make sure you put enough pressure in there so you don't round them off either. And you have to be careful when you do lift this up. I'm almost at that point. I'm going to dump some of the screws out. And a lot of times what I might do is I might put them in a little cup or a little dish. So I don't always have the most cleanest floor. I'm always working on little things here and there. So if you have a nice clean floor and just this where they're going to bounce on the floor, that might be fine. But
Rough, no rough. Roll. I'm smaller than you, Dad.
Yeah.
I need to eventually get in your video.
I'm focusing on video. I don't want you to interfere, okay? You need to be quiet. Okay. Now, a lot of times those ones aren't going to come out. I mean, because the little... You can see in here. I got a little selfie stick on. I'm just doing this on my phone. So I'm trying to make the best video I can. I just kind of... Just messing around here. I'm just, in case somebody else run into trouble with these, this give you an idea. You know, just YouTube community stuff. So, you know, everybody be helpful towards each other. Now, even this, yeah, I have a roll of tape here, and see, that's why, because I'm tossing them. I got 5 of them in there, and 2 of them I'll probably have to, I might just leave in there. And here's one, a fairly clean surface, and I kind of cleaned it, but it still wasn't clean enough. Okay, so now you pull this up. This. Now, it's been a little bit since I've done this. Now, there we go. Now you pull it up from the bottom, and I see those 2 screws are this way, and they're still held in there. And when you're putting it back together, you always have to be careful of these, obviously, because there's a little slot hole that they go through. And these are just set in here. You always have to kind of be careful of the orientation of the wires, your little vibration things, because they just set in a gap. They're sandwiched between the 2. Okay, now with this controller, the top part and the buttons are right here. And hope that's not a problem. It kind of might be, and it looks like it will be, because I don't know how I've done that before, but this is, I just noticed something fell off of here, and they must have cracked it somehow before, so there's going to be some sort of a different issue. I probably will plastic weld it on. I don't know if I'm going to do it today or whatever, but one of the little, right there, this little hole, this is molded in here, and that's what the screw actually connects into. And I'll probably have to plastic weld it. See, there's this one, and that thing on the other side just broke off. I don't know when I done that or whatever. I might have done it when I pulled it in, and might not have got it in there just right. Hey, settle down. Stop picking on the dog. Play nice. You need to be quiet. I'm on a video, okay? Okay, so when you get this, off, the back casing off, you have to, everything doesn't just fall apart, because you have this other, let's see. Quiet, Gizmo! Okay, so you've got several screws, 4 of them it looks like. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and these ones are going to come off with this board. So it's actually, there's a slide pin thing. What actually connects this outer board, there's actually a double layer board, and these you have to be careful when you take these out and push those in, because they have these pins and they just slide together, and on both sides. Okay. And these ones are shorter screws than the other ones. What are you doing? Get out of there, stop messing with stuff. Now, let's see if I can... Hi bud, what you doing? Are you trying to pester me? I'm trying to work on something here. Okay, you need to stop pestering me. I'm trying to make a video thing here. Okay, so took out those 4 screws, and this should slide out. And you have, like I said, you have to pull it straight. Okay, stop. And pull it straight. Because the only thing that's holding it in is these. When you pull out those 4 screws, the only thing that's holding it together is these push-in connectors. They just have multiple pins to communicate the outer board to the inner board. And you have to be careful. Stop. Stop it. No. Okay, and it's good to pull these out and be careful with them because they get these little flimsy wires. They do have kind of an orientation of how they kind of are the outer shell, and how these push in here are, and how the wire kind of pulls up and goes towards the outer part. But you can kind of see that there's this little foam part, and the way the outer part looks to the inner part is a little bit different. So you can kind of get it back in with the alignment of the plastic housing. And so, and with those, see, we want to be careful and not tug on those. You do this a couple times and you pull those wires apart. So this is the little outer board section. Okay. So there's only 4 screws holding this outer part section with the top buttons and the joysticks. Everything else is in here. So you have to be careful because once you pull this next section out, these are going to fall out, which is not a big deal, but I've already got one spring in here. And there's a number of screws. 1, 2, yeah, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me see. I can't remember if that one's supposed to hold that in there, if it's super necessary. Yeah, but I think these buttons, which isn't a big deal. I mean, they fall out. They fall out. All they do is push little contactor things inside something on the board. And I'm actually going to loosen up this side first. So you can see, just you find the screws. This is transparent, so you can kind of see where the screws are going and stuff in there, where it's actually holding it together. I can't remember if I had that one to. And that one did have a longer screw. See, these are actually just, once you start loosening this up here, and I think if I'm going to remember correctly, I have that spring in there, so I'm going to push this down right here like this on this side with these buttons, because I've already done this with one of them, and I'm just going to go ahead and do all of them, because PS3 controllers, and I think you can, I'm not huge into gamer, I do a number of other things, garage stuff, but I do play games with my kiddo. So, yeah, as you can see, what you have here is this rubber diaphragm. Where's my little eye thing there? And they're, see, they're coming apart. What they do, see, they have the little, these ones are still in pretty good shape. But the little rubber diaphragm, when you start doing it, flexing them enough, and they start doing that stuff. And the little contactor is in there too. So, oh, and it just broke all the way off. Let's see, I think it's, yeah, okay, it's this side.
No.
Now, let me share that with you. Let's see. That's not supposed to come off of there, but and this little rubber, this thing, it'll only fit on one way. I thought, well, I'll just spin it because I'm using this button, and you don't use this button. Well, at least on the game when I was playing it at that time, and I've gone to other ones, but usually I think this one and this one is the one you're sitting there hitting things on more when you're most action ones, and so obviously these are worn out more, and that thing's about ready to fall off too. But let me show you what I did, and it's been fine. I mean, it just, other than this, completely came off. These ones, I probably could go without you doing these, but I want to try to do this. But what I did is I took a spring, this spring, because all we have here. Oh, I better be careful not to let these fall out.
Picture.
Is
Bye.
okay. Well, I'm actually going to pull the bottom one out. And see, it just fits in there. I mean, it does have like alignment things in here, but I don't have the X on here no more on this controller. So I just got to kind of be careful. I don't know if they're all symmetrical. I think they are kind of sloped a little bit differently, and they do have different. And I think they would all fit in one way because they have all these extra little tabs. I mean, they have the big one, but then they also, see if I can get a better view of this. And you see that there's the big tap right here in the top, and then you've got a few other ones. And I just dropped it. And Corbin, hey, come get that for me. The little black plastic button thing I dropped, right there.
Where?
Under by my boot, right there, right there.
What is it called?
Yeah, give it to me.
What is it?
Give it to me, please.
What is it?
It's a piece of this controller. Give it. Thank you. Okay, so don't. Go play with the dog. He's spirited. Okay, so basically, I just I thought about doing a number of different things and finding out how to operate and everything, but all I've done with this one is, let's see, I'm going to try to up this a little bit, like this, and then all it does is kind of, that one fell off too. No, they're both broke off, that's fine. I'll just sit them in there. And you have to choose the right size of spring because it has to kind of, yeah. Oh, this is kind of getting difficult actually. Because they have to go over that. And this is probably a little bit more spring than I necessarily need. But as you can see, the plastic button will do this and it'll kind of bounce and all this other stuff. I haven't had any issues, and the other ones these other things are broke off, but it was still in there functioning. So, if anything, if I'm gonna have any more issues, I might put the whole thing together and then super glue this little dimple thing that's part of this rubber diaphragm. That's the actual it's got a contact built in, I believe. Yeah, I can see them. If you really look close. Inside this little volcano hole looking thing, there are little copper contacts in there. So each time you hit the button with this underneath it, there's a little contact type of thing. When you push it down, the rubber is just kind of the return spring. And when it kind of tears down that rubber, it just obviously breaks it off. But it was just kind of tearing and wearing through a little bit. So it is a little bit tricky to have to kind of put this back together. But this is, I mean, you can do whatever you want to do, but this is the good solution that I felt coming up with this particular type of controller, because I don't know, maybe I'm having a hard drive issue. I thought it was, or maybe it's just the controllers that don't connect very good, or I'm having different issues with it. These ones do it sometimes, so I think maybe where I'm just starting to have more and more issues, game freezes, where I thought it was controller stuff. I'm having problems with controllers, and it could just be where the hard drive is having reading issues, so that's what it's doing. So I've been trying these, but obviously you can't really get so many of those controllers anymore. They don't just sell them in the regular stores, but I haven't super looked. I just went to, I'm not like a huge gamer. I'm kind of a gadget person, so I'm obviously messing with the gadget stuff. But, okay, so let me, because this is good. I have this one here. So what I did is spring assortment. You have for a few bucks you get this down at Harbor Freight, this spring assortment, or wherever. You can probably get it wherever, some sort of spring assortment, or just regular springs. You probably maybe even go to like some sort of Cal Ranch or hardware store. And honestly, the spring assortment, because unless you pull this apart and take this down there, trying to find the right one like that is probably going to be really tough. So I don't remember which ones I did, and hopefully I got enough. I have a whole bunch of different kind of, because see, these are like return springs, and they're not good springs for what I'm using. So, I mean, if I have other needs, and it's obviously a compression spring, but I remember what size I used around. See, because honestly, all you need is just enough to get it returned back, and this is probably getting softer because it's been used a bit than one of these original ones. Let me see. These aren't it, are they? No. You can see that's the one. Oh, let's see. Where did I put that? You can't even see that. There's that one. That's one that's in it, and that one is going to have way more spring. So I chose the one out of the pack, and honestly, if I get to where there's like too much spring stuff, I'm going to see what's going to happen with this. But I mean, I was thinking about getting some wire cutters and cutting that down. You only need so much, but honestly, I didn't want to, because if you see how the springs are, they kind of have this bottoming surface right there, and if I cut that, it would just be in the middle. And so I didn't use one of those kinds or whatever. What did I use? I haven't done this in a while, so obviously you keep playing until you have a problem, and then you do it. Okay, and let's see. Hopefully I'm not going to mix these up with...
Daddy, Bowser's
What?
dead.
Huh?
Bowser's dead.
I can't hear you.
Bowser's dead.
I can't hear you.
Bowser's dead.
There's that. Your toy or your stuffed dog, just because I don't want you to walk over here. You're going to bump my camera, okay? You don't need to be dramatic. I'm busy doing this so we can play the video game again. Do you want me to not play? Okay, it's got to be those. That looks right. Yeah, see, this is this other size one that I don't want. 3/8 by 5/8. So I think it's Gizmo. Quiet. It's 3/8 wide So these ones are obviously this next size up. That's got way more spring compression, but that's 3/8 by 3/4. And I don't know much about springs. You know, eventually they'll kind of start compressing down. And how many? 8 pieces. What did I do with it? Oh, I might have another one in there. I mean, let's see if I even got enough. They're mixed around somewhere. You know, these cases, they... So, because I know that's the stock I took them from. But obviously you can see they're squishing down a little bit. Springs will do that over time. Compression springs anyways. Kind of like the coil springs of a car. Alright, what's going on here? I have enough for this. Oh, I feel like I should have more. It says 8 pieces and I see like half. No. Maybe that's 6. Okay, maybe it's 6 pieces. So to get another set of those, I'm gonna have to buy a whole nother kit to do the other controller for between me and my kiddo. Okay, so we're gonna see how well this is gonna work. So good grief. Yeah, I don't know. Because these are tore off all the way, and then obviously when I put this back together the last time it wasn't tore off all the way. So yeah, you have to do this weird bunch of orchestrating things. And I only had one to deal with last time, and this thing wasn't tore up, so this is actually a bit more of a challenge. More than I really want right now.
Why? Why do you need me?
I don't need you. I need you to be quiet and stop coming over here and interfering. Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to... Yeah, if I might be able to. Let me put the spring on here. Yeah, this is going to be a real kind of tedious thing. And I might have to just kind of cut the video and just give you that basic idea of how to do it. But as you see, when I pulled it apart, I already had one in there, and it was already working. But these little buttons are, I don't know, can you see? I'm using it like a selfie thing, so I got these bars and I can't see the screen so much. I'm kind of doing it that way so I can monitor my video too, so. Let's see. Remember which one it is. Okay, the inside one and the bottom. And it might be more prudent to just even kind of maybe even super glue the thing, you know, back on here. And back to the little kind of place right there. I don't know how this is going to work. But obviously it takes some finesse and finagling around to do any of this. And let's try this next bottom one. And I should have got some, oh wait, I might have some if I need them. And things roll around. If you're not careful. So I just have them in the bottom because, like I said, this when you are compressing the springs down, they actually, the things has to come up through the center anyways to do it. The little buttons, so maybe this will work this way because I was thinking about super gluing them to that. Anyways, so, and I always had it sitting on here to put it back. And I better get some screws ready. And I'm just hoping that there's... I think you do get some help with compression with the other top parts, but there's only like a couple of screws that come through this way.
I found Bowser.
You found Bowser? That's good. And there's this post right here. There are some of these alignment posts. There's little pegs right here, so you can kind of line it up with the grooves in hopes that you get it all right. And then just kind of push it down. Okay. But I'm going to put this, and you obviously got to be careful with this when you're pushing it down on there, because if you don't, like I just dropped that screw, and I'm trying to hold it all together. Okay, for putting this screw in it. And it takes great concentration when you have a little person that's trying to come around and distract you and stuff. Parts have somehow been magnetized. Oh, I didn't even have it all the way down in. Good grief, did I... It is nice having them transparent because then you can kind of see, and hopefully that's going to work its way in there. And we're going to see if that's going to settle in. Yeah, it looks like there's a one screw on the side. Did I only say the one screw on that one side? So that's, you still probably during this whole process, which, like I said, it's a bit to do. I just added those 4 screws. I only had one before, so it was only one of them pushing on there. That... yeah, you don't want to... I'm keeping my finger on this because there's only one screw on that side. Because this other top board has to go in here. Oh, actually, I think I'm going to take it back out too, unfortunately. Because if I remember how I was pulling this out, some of these are short screws, but one of them was a long screw in there. And I put a longer screw in that one now, if I remember. So obviously I had more grip.
That's enough. That's enough.
No, it's not.
That's invisible.
What's invisible?
That. You put it in.
Did you get a Captain America shield for your birthday?
Yeah. So, did he?
Huh?
Can I launch something?
Can you what? Launch something?
No.
No, you can't.
Something.
No, I'm doing this.
Please.
I'm fixing this and doing a video.
Okay. I want you to do. They part it.
No, I can't pause it. I'm in the middle of this and I'm trying to do it
That's
because...
too live. Duh.
But that's not going to show in the video. That's just the phone holder. The little selfie stick.
Okay, no more talking. No more talking.
I have to. I'm giving instructions.
Okay. I know the instructions.
But I'm not letting you try to fix this.
Lord of the Rings.
No TV. I'm in here doing that. It's got some...
Oh!
Yeah, I can see it's trying to flex up a little bit. So keep it in place. And you kind of have to while you're doing this. Just be careful as you can with things because of the wires. Okay, put them in their respective place. And just seat them in on both sides. Okay.
I got that. That. What?
So it pushes on here somewhere, I believe. So it's got some
Oh,
sort
we
of
got
more
that. Got that.
stabilizing part. And this thing too will hold it in place a little bit. Let me get these other
Got that.
screws in place. Hey, I'm gonna test this in there in a minute. Why don't you go change the TV channel over and get the PlayStation set up, but turn the sound off, okay?
Hold on. Let's see what we have. We got that one. What do we have? That one. We got that one. That one. Yeah.
Obviously, well, I'm not going to use one of the screws, so...
Watch this. Once I said Lord of the Rings, there's some search for Lord of the Rings.
But it's Lord of the Rings
Lord of the
game.
Rings. See? I searched for it. And it was showed up.
That's nice. Hey, sit down.
Spider-Man. Despicable Me thing.
So, okay, when you get this, go do what I said, please. Will you go over there and do what I said, please?
I want something.
No, I'm going to test this on the PS3. So you need to go and turn it on for me, please. One thing about these, now that I'm thinking of it, I'm asking him to go over there and turn it on because you have to go up there and manually turn it on with these. These don't activate the system by hitting the power button. You have to do it manually, or if you have the remote. So there is a little bit of a slot thing to kind of get in there. Make sure you get it with the top slot, and obviously make sure you got the... I think it's symmetrical. It kind of probably wouldn't matter, but you certainly want to have the indications right. It does say, you know, left and right. So just make sure you have it lined up. There's a little notch in there. Okay. And these ones here, I think, are the extra big support. It does all sandwich together, but once you kind of get some of the things together, you kind of have to let it loose. So, top sandwich thing, I'm just going to go without the one because I'd have to plastic weld it, and I don't feel like doing that now because I'm doing this demonstration. Hold on a second, I can't remember if this is... It might be. Sometimes pulling things apart is easier, and I'm not sure if... Oh, no, okay. Well, this little top part's always a little bit tricky with it, and it does kind of sandwich it. Oh, yeah, and remember, like I said, you gotta watch these pins right here, the contact pins for the batteries. It's in the case on this side. It's part of the kit that you don't have to worry about the one side that's part of the board. Okay, and that motor. Okay, there we go. Okay. And just like that. And two of the screws are still in there, held in place by the little foil thing. Your instructions. And this is good to get these in there because this one here on this side is going to be the one that helps to reinforce it more. That other base board, it's got the springs in it. So yeah, they got a lot more springs. So you get more finger workout because you have more spring pressure. But now they'll all be same because the buttons was uneven. I had one spring in and I didn't have the other springs in, but I decided if I'm going to do this, I don't want to have to pull it apart to go to the next one. So I was just going to do them all together, which I did. You saw me do all four of them. So but just get them to where they squish down, and it's okay for like the first time, but if you take something apart several times, you got to make sure that you're not over tightening, and I always have a bad habit of that. I've gotten better over the years, but yeah, see this one here I think will help squish. Well, no, I guess that's just for the outer board, but everything kind of sandwiches together as a whole. I don't think it's going to really go anywhere, so it keeps in there. Because I was always afraid to do that, and I just tested. It seems like it was doing pretty good. Oh, that's the last one. That's this one here that's broke. This part right here is going to have to be plastic welded to the boss or whatever for it. On this outer part broke off and it won't connect, so I can't use the last screw. I'm ready, dude. Go change it for me. You want to not play? Come on.
You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Go do what I said, please.
I'm smaller than you. I don't need.
And these take the rechargeable batteries. I don't know if it really... Well, maybe it says on the packaging. I don't know. I've had these for a while. Well, got the board back together. And I've come to realize, because I got two of them, and I don't know if they interfere in other frequencies around the house or something lovely that were bathed in wireless frequencies, but if I've had them where, and it might be just in the middle of the game stuff, you just won't do it, and it just keeps flashing. You just unplug, you can when it logs on, it stays the little blue Bluetooth transmitter that you plug into the USB port up there will be the solid one. But if you're using more than one, the other one that won't lock on will be the one that's flashing. And you just unplug it, plug it in, and then it'll force it to register at that point. So you didn't change the. Go change the TV over, dude. Oh yeah, I got this TV remote. We found it. All right, moment of truth. If it all went in there together.
Yeah.
So of course all the regular stuff's working. Oh, that button worked. So that was the X. That was one of the ones right here that had the issue. And I don't know if I can test it with. No, there's nothing right. Let's see. I don't know. I'm just gonna go in the game. We've been playing the Lego games. I like the Lego games for me and him because there's a lot of good gameplay. It takes a bit of time to go through, and there's just regular bunch of stuff. So we've done like the Lego Star Wars, and right now we're doing the Lord of the Rings. We've got the what's the other one? Batman and Batman 2 and Batman 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We almost have Lego Batman.
We almost have Lego Batman?
Yeah.
Almost. No, we do have it.
Where?
We've got Lego Batman 2 and Lego Batman 3.
Where's Lego Batman 1?
I don't know. I don't know if they made one or I haven't really looked into it. I just obviously PS4 has been out. This is middle of what year is it? Yeah, 2019.
I'm hungry. Your controller.
That button I hit triangle to skip. So the triangle and the circle. So the triangle's here at the top, obviously. I've gotten good at remembering them because there you can see I've wore them down. That's what's not very good about these controllers though, is that painting stuff doesn't have like an itching groove or anything in there, and that paint will wear off quicker than the other ones. Here, move, get out of the way. So.
Looking for something.
Here, go. Let me finish this up, okay? So, I don't know if there's anything to tell. I'm just going to have to go into the game. I'm just trying to do some things just to make sure all the buttons work. Because I had these two tore off, the little contact things in the rubber. But see, the X is working. I just got to see if this square is working. Square, triangle, circle, X, yeah.
They're all working.
I gotta make sure. I know the X is working. I just gotta make sure the square is. I'm pretty sure it will. I think I got it all in there, which isn't a big deal. I mean, that's just you just have to make sure, and then just verify through the side once you get it all kind of sandwiched together that they all seem like they're lined up and stuff. There's this plastic shroud. I guess I didn't really cover that. But once you kind of get it in there, it all kind of lines up. So that's why I use the 3/8 spring. And I guess you don't really have to go out to the hardware store and look with this other thing because I just read it off the package. I forgot it was there. But the 3/8 springs by... compression springs. So by 5/8, I think, yeah, those are the ones. And if you can get shorter than 5/8, like a half, that'd be fine. But the 3/8 is the diameter. So if you get shorter, 5/8 or a little bit shorter, then because it does compress them quite a bit, and it's working, and that's a lot of spring pressure to push back. Oh yeah, it's working. So I got them all in there, the contacts. I figured as long as it didn't twist or something, it would push in past the other part. So yeah, I'm golden. So that's what I did to correct this kind of controller. If you're using these,
I'm silver.
You're silver. Oh yeah, whatever. It's part of the game thing. You got a little gold circle and a silver circle for the second player. But yeah, these ones are tore off, but I just pushed them in there and. The spring all lines up in there. It's got this other plastic thing that the button itself, the little plastic black. We'll find in a minute. Let me finish the video, okay? Yeah, so it lines up in there, so the spring won't wander, and then it keeps the other thing in place too. So when you push it down it kind of seats itself back in the rubber, I'm sure. But even with the, I mean, I'm getting good rebound. So I put all those heavy springs in there. Yeah. So.
I'm doing this.
So they, and it probably was been tore off for a while. The X, when that was the one I did, because the other game I played used the X a lot. I used the square a lot in this game, so that's where it tore the rubber diaphragm off in this one, and but that one obviously was already tore off. So, but obviously, you know, I've used it on the before. So that spring and that rubber diaphragm's torn off, but the contact is what's attached into the rubber diaphragm. But it does, I mean, the spring basically pushes this black button out. So, and at least it draws the contact away from it, so you can have repetitive buttons without it like kind of sticking. Because some functions you have to press and hold, and then you have to have repetitive motions for your action, your strike, or whatever. So, but if you got these controllers, and it might work for a number of other things. That's what I did for this.
How do I find it?
In a minute. It's over there.
Okay.
So the other one, it's done the same thing too, because we switched them back and forth. But yeah, just a Harbor Freight package. It comes with 6 of them, so if you're only doing one, you got enough. So if you're doing, you know, if you can just find a package of the 3/8 compression springs,
What?
and
Are you kidding me?
and I think it's about time to play. Settle down.
Come on. What?
So 3/8 by 5/8.
Started.
Be quiet. I'm trying to finish my video, bud.
Come on, can you fix this?
I will in a minute.
See? I'm golden. And you're silver.
He's a spirited player. He's just spirited in general. He's
Oh.
and dramatic. Yeah, 3/8 by 5/8. So you could probably look for, it's got to at least be the 3/8. 3/8 was perfect diameter, the width of it. If you don't understand, you know, some of this stuff, the width of the spring and the height was 5/8. So you could probably get something, maybe even a smaller thickness of wire of spring, but you got to have a 3/8 spring, and just kind of judge for yourself what kind of you know, tension you want, because honestly I probably got more tension than I need. There was other 3/8 spring, but obviously I had way more compression, and these are, if you can really actually see in there, they're actually almost pretty close to bottomed out. So these are probably not the most ideal, but in that pack that I had, they are. But if you're doing some shopping for springs, you know, maybe find something that's a little bit less tension. All it's got to do is push the black button back out is all, because it wasn't doing it so good, because that rubber diaphragm was what was doing it. Push the contact back and this whole black button, and now the spring does it, and so they all work in unison, and I haven't had any problems. It's been pretty good. So that's a solution for you to think about if you got something like this, and instead of going out and buy another controller or something like that, you know, keep using these. They're pretty good, except for that. That's my only complaint with them, really, and the USB stuff. And you know, you have to charge, you know, rechargeable batteries and stuff in them. So they're all right. But hope you enjoyed the video. Hope it was helpful and give you some ideas if you're doing something like that. I don't know if anybody else really using those, or still send them in the stores. So they got keep it on the shelves for something, I suppose. So hopefully that's something for you. Have a great day.